Autism Fitness founder Eric Chessen leading the movement for movement here, and this is your Autism Fitness Tuesday training. Here it is. Yes, no real intro other than that. I don't want to waste your time, but it's not a waste of your time. Becoming an Autism Fitness Level 1 Certified Pro, you can register right now or a couple seconds ago or a couple minutes from now and begin your coursework towards becoming an autism fitness practitioner, bringing the fitness and adapted PE programs to your autism and neuroadaptive individuals who truly deserve it and need the best possible coaching and programming. You can deliver on that. And then you get to meet with me virtually for your live practical where you get the hands-on, brains-on, feet-on, I said that in some order, training that you and your athletes deserve. So in this edition of Tuesday Training, we're going to be talking about the interaction in the PAC profile, that's physical, adaptive, and cognitive, the interaction between the physical and the adaptive. Now, how does that work? So when we're looking at physical, the actual exercise itself, we're asking ourselves, in our heads, how well can this athlete perform this particular exercise, whether it's a medicine ball push throw, rope swings, a squat, an overhead press, whatever the movement is, at what level can they safely and effectively perform that exercise? All right. It's question number one. And then when we go to the adaptive, right, we're looking at motivation and engagement. How motivated is the athlete to perform the exercise and how engaged are they when they are performing the exercise? And then finally, we have the cognitive, that is the neurological and the neuromuscular. We'll get to that some other time, or if you become a level 1 certified pro, you have access to that information. Right now, we're looking at the physical and the adaptive. So how does motivation influence or have an effect on physical performance? Well, the simple answer is, even though it's a little bit complex, the simple answer is that the more motivated an athlete is to perform that exercise, the better the performance is likely to be. The more engagement they have with that particular situation, they're focused, they're on task, they know what to do, the better we're going to see each repetition of that particular exercise. With physical functioning, the things that we're looking at that are going to make the difference in the effectiveness of that exercise are going to be motor control. Do they have the ability to control that entire movement through the entire healthy range of motion? Those are two big deals. We don't want our athletes bouncing through a squat. We don't want them going really quickly through an overhead press. They are not going to get the most out of that exercise. So form and technique matter. And these are things that we have to teach or coach. And that's why we have a program around it. So we have a more motivated athlete, which means that we have better performance of that particular exercise. So this is an instance or instances where the physical and the motivational are not mutually exclusive. They interact with each other. So some of the ways that we might enhance the reinforcing nature of an exercise might be to provide a break or a preferred activity at the end of that particular exercise. And we also want to reinforce the performance of that exercise itself, usually with behavior-specific praise. We want the athlete to develop a good, positive relationship with that exercise. And when they do, that means they probably like to do it or at least don't hate to do it as much. And when they're doing it, as they continue, because we always want to be using a consistent process in our programming, when they're doing it more often, they get better at it, they become more familiar, anxiety around the exercise, confusion around the exercise goes down, and the reinforcing nature of the exercise goes up. Not always a linear process, but a process that we see in autism fitness programming again and again and again. So this interaction between the adaptive and motivational and the performance of that particular exercise is a big one. The more engaged we have an athlete, the better the performance is likely to be, which is why we also want to avoid certain things. What do we want to avoid? We want to avoid have to language, because as soon as you tell somebody that they have to do something or that they're not doing it right or to do it better, what happens to the reinforcing nature of that particular exercise? Whee! Down the slide into I don't like this anymore territory. So we want to keep it engaging for the athlete. We want to keep it positive, and we want to make sure that they have everything they need coaching and cueing wise to perform the exercise as best as they possibly can to create that training effect. So the adaptive functioning, that motivation and engagement, is going to have a direct effect on the efficacy of that particular exercise. And again, this could take time with our autism and neurodivergent athletes. So we want to plan it out. We want to have the right structure. And we want to make sure that we have a plan that meets that athlete where they are at right now, so that we can make sure when we are talking about reinforcement that it is actually reinforcing for that particular individual. Again, when we're just starting out with a program, the main thing is to make sure that that athlete has everything that they need to communicate effectively, and we want to offer choice so that that athlete has a sense of autonomy over the session. So overall, when we're looking at physical, adaptive, and cognitive with reference to exercise and movement, we want to keep in mind that the more motivated an athlete is, the better performance we're likely to get and the better outcomes we're going to have. This has been your Autism Fitness Tuesday training. I have been and continue to be Autism Fitness founder Eric Chessen. If you're ready to become an Autism Fitness Certified Pro, click the link below. It will take you to the Autism Fitness certification page. I hope you've enjoyed this edition of Tuesday training. Please like, subscribe, and share the Autism Fitness here on YouTube. And I will see you again next week with another Autism Fitness Tuesday training. Thank you for watching.